You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, CSL St. George. What a wonderful day and year this is, 2022. Welcome. And I'm going to do a meditation today, and it is very touching. And I'm going to say it in first person, but I want you to realize it in first person as you are saying this beautiful love song to yourself. First of all, I'd like to give a little paragraph on an opening for the new year. May I know peace. May I know love. May I know myself in gratitude of the gifts of the kingdom that seek to be bestowed upon me. May I know joy and prosperity. May I know my brother as myself, my sister as myself. May I know all things as they truly are, and not as how I have been instructed to see them. May I know God in the air, in the sky, in the earth, and in the sea, in all things. I offer myself to God in this new agreement. Behold, I make all things new. And so this love song to yourself, for me, I cried often. I've been doing it every morning. So hopefully today I have it without breaking up. You are the one I wake up with every morning. The one I breathe with. The one whose very heartbeat I feel as my own. Breathe that in. Let it touch you. You are the one I walk with. The one who I speak with, who I sing with. The one who stays with me through every waking moment of every sacred day. You are the one I get sick with, the one I cry with, the one whose anger and joy and doubt surges through me like fire. You are the one I will die with, the one whose arms I shall return to. You are the one I see in every face, shining through every pair of eyes. Shimmering through the silences, the trails of dust, and the spaces in the canopy of nature. Feel the expansion. You are my constant companion, my home, my reason, my joy, my life. We cannot be divided. We cannot be two. And even one is too far for us. I sing this song to myself every day, disappearing into the song. I am always loved, always cared for, and I am never alone. I invite you to just sit in a few minutes of silence as I read the song one more time, and know that I am closer than your hands and feet. God is, God is, God is in all things. You are the one I wake up with every morning, the one I breathe with, the one whose every heartbeat I feel is my own. You are the one I walk with, the one I cry with, the one I speak and sing with, the one who stays with me through every waking moment of every sacred day. You are the one I get sick with, the one I cry with, the one whose anger and joy and doubt surges through me like fire. You are the one I will die with, the one whose arms I shall return to. You are the one I see in every face, shining through every pair of eyes, shimmering through the silences, the trails of dust, and the spaces in the canopy. You are my constant companion, my home, my reason, my joy, my life. We cannot be divided. We cannot be two, and even one is too far for us. I sing this song to you. I sing this song to myself, disappearing into the song, and I am never alone. Thank you.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, welcome, and Happy New Year, everyone. We're delighted to have you here with us today. My name is Chris McCardle, and I'm a practitioner here with our Center for Spiritual Living St. George. And I must say, Star, your meditation just touched me very, very profoundly. I'm not as perky as I normally am because I'm very just softly centered and comfortable being in service with all you beautiful people. I'd like to let you know that we're an open and loving and inclusive community, and we support thinking creatively and living deeply spiritual lives. But that's not all of who we are. We're so much more and then some. I mean, it's my honor to be a part of this group, and I hope you all will continue to join us. So today's service, let's see, our tech behind the scenes is Marina. Our meditation was given by Star. It's me, Chris, your host. Cheryl's going to be doing the music, and I looked ahead on our slides, and there's a new song. The words blew me away, so I'm really looking forward to that. Cheryl, I love you, or shall I call you Cheek? Gwen Hadley's going to be doing our reading, the sacred covenant that we do every week as we seek a new minister. And our first speaker of the year is, I'm going to say it, our one and only Joe Kovach. Joe's been speaking with us for, several years. And he's in the process of becoming Reverend Joe Kovach. And I know I can't wait for that to happen. So anyway, let us get on with service with the wonderful Cheek singing. Hi, Cheek.
You goofball. I think you are still goofy, Chris.
I know.
Good morning.
That meditation, wasn't it fantastic?
It was beautiful.
I got tears I had to wipe off. People are going to know I do the mascara a little for the shows of the Sundays.
Your secret's out.
I know my secret's out.
We are going to continue in that beautiful space of meditation that Star started. And this song is just reminding us to invite Spirit into these places in our lives. And I just invite you to listen to these words. And after the invocation, the lyrics will be on the screen for you to sing along or read along. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat as love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see as love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. All is healed that I perceive to know as love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve as love divine. I'm going to invite Star back to the service, and she's going to do our invocation. Thanks, Star.
Good morning, CSLSG. What I know right here and right now is there's only one life. That life is Source itself, the creative principle that lives, moves, and breathes within each and every one of us. I know this for a fact because I know it for myself. There is no separation. There is only this beautiful realization of oneness that moves in and through all of creation, leaving nothing out. And so knowing this love as part of who and what I am, I embrace it. I own it. I am it. And so knowing this, I bless this service. I know the words that will be spoken are words that will zing in the hearts of those who hear it. For love's divine calling is here, it is present, and the truth is always setting us free. So I release this prayer into the known from the unknown. All is well. All is cared for. No one is alone. Be you happy, be you sad. You are one. And so I release this prayer into the knowingness of God as together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Star. Devoted one, take my heart, let your grace be mine. All is healed that I may yield to beat as love divine. Sacred one, take my sight, let your eyes be mine. Grant the truth of heaven's view to see as love divine. Abiding one, take my thoughts, let your will be mine. As I believe, all I perceive, to know as love divine. Holy one, take my dream, let your cause be mine. To all I meet, the hands and feet, to serve as love divine. Blessed one, take my life, let your light be mine. Give me desire, eternal fire, to burn as love divine. May I live as love divine. And now Gwen Hadley is going to read our Sacred Covenant. Good morning, Gwen.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you. So yes, we're sending out this Sacred Covenant out into the new year, 2022. So there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know the highest purpose of this my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe. For it is written by Ernest Holmes, let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself. For I live the presence and law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. Please express your personal truth here. I embrace. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am so grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Gwen. Beautiful as always. So happy New Year, everyone. We are kicking off a new year, a new month, and our theme this month is Living Everyday Wonder, and that is also our topic today, and our friend Joan Kovach is going to introduce that to us. Angela Morgan, in her poem today, she says this: Oh, to be alive in such an age when miracles are everywhere, and every inch of common air throbs a tremendous prophecy of greater marvels yet to be. And Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, in this month's Science of Mind magazine, he reminds us that we have a choice what we focus on and how we live that life. He says, you can have a mind opened by wonder or closed by embellished concerns. It doesn't matter where those beliefs came from. If your mind is boxed in, you are in your box of beliefs. And this song is by one of my favorite contemporary songwriters. His name is Phineas O'Connell, and it is called Once in a Lifetime, and it's his perspective on valuing what's important in life. How do you know if you've done everything right? Is the love you have at hand, or the cash you kiss at night? How do you know if it was worth it in the end? Did every second really count? Or were there some you shouldn't spend on anything but anyone you love? Was this the life you were dreaming of? A movie night, a yellow light, you're slowing down, the days are adding up. Don't waste the time you have waiting for time to pass. It's only a lifetime, that's only a while. It's not worth the anger you felt as a child. Don't waste the time you have waiting for time to pass. It's only a lifetime, that's not long enough. You're not gonna like it without any love, so don't waste it. I'm unimpressed by the people preaching pain for the sake of some small gain, in the sake of someone's name. I'm unprepared for my loved ones to be gone. Call them way too often now, worried way too much about mom. Don't waste the time you have waiting for time to pass. It's only a lifetime, that's only a while. It's not worth the anger you felt as a child. Don't waste the time you have waiting for time to pass. It's only a lifetime, that's not long enough. You're not gonna like it without any love, so don't waste it. Family and friends, and that's the truth. The fountain doesn't give you back your youth. You're staying up too late at night and laughing under kitchen lights so hard you start to cry. Don't waste the time you have waiting for time to pass. It's only a lifetime, that's not long enough. You're not gonna like it without any love, so don't waste it. Okay, back to you, Chris.
See, everybody, the work, Cheryl.
That's a good one.
Okay, today's first service Sunday of Verklempt Chris. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So now it's time for me to welcome Joe back in to our center he's going to be our guest speaker today. There he is. Joe,
Good morning.
what a start.
Seriously. I mean, between the meditation, the song, again, I get to this point and I'm just like, now I just want to hear someone talk. I realize I got to do it. So I have to snap out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And later on, Chris, you have to show me or talk to me about your eyeliner. Maybe we can share tips on that.
Actually, I don't really have any on today. I was kind of just joking, but I do normally wear it.
Oh, I love this.
I'll teach you some tricks on how to dull some of the shine off of the head.
Yeah, that we have to work on.
Yeah, we do. Hey, take it away, buddy.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, happy New Year's to CSL St. George. And I was thinking, as Chris mentioned, it has been quite some time that I've had the honor and privilege to speaking with you. And it really is an honor and a privilege as I continue on my journey to becoming a minister and all this wonderful experience and practice. I just can't thank you and your community enough. So thank you. And it is New Year's. It's a time of resolutions. And you know what they say about resolutions? It's something that comes in one year and out the other. Ba-dum-bum. And then I saw this on the internet, wanted to share it. It says an optimist stays up till midnight in the new year to see the new year in. A pessimist stays up to make sure the old year leaves. Something to think about there. So as you know, our topic today is living everyday wonder. And I got excited about this topic. I was like, ooh, I just think of it. Just let it sit in for a minute. I mean, who wouldn't want to wake up and spend a day and, wonder, let alone, a whole day, every moment in wonder. I start off some days inspired and ready to see wonder in everything I do and the whole world that I get to experience, but then I have to go to work. And that doesn't always go the way I want it to. There's people, I work with children, sometimes they're frustrating. And then, come I get home and I get another letter from the homeowners association that I have to trim my palm trees because there's a few dead leaves. And I think about really, why do you care so much about a few dead leaves? Just let me be and take care of my stuff. And then I go to the store and I get in and the check engine light is on and I realize this has been on for some time. And I know it's a possibility that it's not real, but do I want to spend the money if I have the money? And do you see how easy it is to get thrown off of thinking and living a life of wonder? And this is real. This stuff goes on. I'm not going to stand in front of you and thinking I have all this knowledge and I'm not human, because I am. That's one thing I love about our philosophy. We're real here. And this is my mind when, we're operating on default thinking, when I'm really kind of not paying attention. And it's really easy to get caught up in this momentum of the downward lower vibration, because lower vibration is easier. It's slower. But that's not what we want to do. And what I do know is I'm not making myself wrong, and we shouldn't make ourselves wrong ever. It's good that we recognize, and that's what we're really doing here, is building our consciousness to recognize where we are at. And yet I do have a responsibility to guard my thoughts and recognize that when I'm in this lower vibration, this really complaining, I'm never going to get what I want out of that, because I'm talking about and focusing about what I don't want. And so how can I get what I want out of giving my attention to something I don't want? What I do know, though, is Centers for Spiritual Living views this idea of spiritual living as something we do consciously, mindfully. We should try to practice this all day long, but at least as often. There's times when I just have check-ins throughout my day to make sure that, okay, where am I at? Let me make sure I'm where I want to be. Because again, it's very easy to get off on a different path. And with spiritual living, as we teach, we have to do it ourselves first. And then as we're going through it, we can share our wisdom, our experiences with others who are open to it. And of course, we share with compassion, with love, with understanding, with empathy. And Ernest Holmes spent his whole life in this idea of what does it mean to be spiritual? What is spirit in essence? And he so deeply studied and practiced and lived by spiritual truth that the wisdom and experience of his life brought him to the conclusion that was in Science of Mind here, a quote. He says, that which today seems to us supernatural, after it is understood, will be found spontaneously natural. And I love this quote because it's almost like a goal, although sometimes we get caught up in goals in negative ways, meaning that's where I want to be. And if I'm not there yet, I'm wrong, or I'm bad, or I'm weak. And in a sense, again, on this New Year's resolution, while this would be a great thing to focus on, I want to experience life spontaneously natural as supernatural. I want to keep that in perspective. But think about that. You know, it's like as we change habits, we start off one thing and we slowly replace it till all of a sudden the thing that we wanted to be doing, we don't even think about it anymore because that's the new habit. That's the new thing. And then as we grow in consciousness, as we continue to practice our spiritual practices, that grows too, and that shifts too. And Holmes deemed it so important with regards to how we think and how we feel and what's going on inside us and what is possible, this idea of living life spontaneously as if it was all supernatural and having that be the norm, that he says this, and it's so important that it's in one of our, what do we call those? Guiding declarative principles. There we go. That's what I want to say. Our declaration of principles. And one of them says, we believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Now hold that. Now I was raised in a different faith where heaven was something outside of me, and that was the goal, was to act accordingly so I could be found worthy enough to go to this place of heaven, which is everything is perfect. And if you've been in Science of Mind for a little while, you may have heard this. I've been in for a while, so I've heard this quote, you know, hundreds of times, this idea that heaven is this place within us. And I have to be open to it. And while I was writing this talk, it kind of hit me at a new level consciously and mindfully of what that really means. Again, I've heard it 100 times, and it's hard to explain sometimes, right? Where the truth, you just get something at a different level. Like for me, heaven is living the life that I would love to live. For me personally, that would be heaven. Like things just line up, things are flowing. I am experiencing love and joy and so forth more often than not. And then the second part of this is that we must become conscious of it, which to me, I was thinking about is like literally, again, we're creating the life that we love through simply contemplating a vision of what that is. And then our job is to live as if that is happening, that's what we want. And while I know what I just said sounds very like, oh, that's what we always hear maybe, or I have this vision, I think yet there's more and more openness to it. So maybe through the contemplating of it, I just recognize at a level where I'm allowing it to be more present in my life. And so then I started thinking about, all right, well, this is a good definition of spiritual living, meaning I'm living the life that I want. I'm experiencing light. I hold a vision. That vision can constantly change, right? Because when I say I want this heavenly place and I get to this top of the mountain, well, then we get to the top of the mountain. And what happens? Our view changes. That's why we say that life is infinite, ongoing, because now the view is changed. And now I may have a different vision because, oh, something else is possible. I want to experience something else. And again, this is all good and normal. And to me, this is what spiritual living is all about. Yet, how do we shift from the life that we're living now to the one that we're visioning, right? We want to be living everyday wonder, but then I get stuck in this routine, or I may not even recognize that wonder is out there somewhere. Wonder, that's Hallmark fluffy stuff. Let's look at the hardcore reality of what's going on. And I'm not going to get into the upteen things that we could point out what's going on. But what's going on, we're the ones that give meaning to that. That's what's important. It's kind of like watching a movie, and everybody watches a movie and we all watch the same thing, but we're experiencing it differently. And we get to choose how we experience that. We get to give meaning to it. So one of the easiest ways to start is to recognizing and noticing the absolute wonder that's happening right here, right now. Right here, right now. And that means, again, recognizing, okay, if I see something that maybe I don't agree with, I have a little resistance against, what can I do to change that meaning? How can I see wonder in something that right now I'm not seeing so much? Well, if we go back to our declarative principles, what we believe in science of mind, the first one is there's only one life. That life is God, that life is perfect, and that's summarized. But if we come from this idea that there is just one life, one spirit, one power, one God, whatever word floats your boat for that, because that doesn't matter. There's just one thing, one life happening, and we are all a part of it. For me, that really helps to anchor this idea down even further, meaning no matter what vision I have of a perfect life for myself, it's all spirit. It's like it's the only ingredient. I could pretend to take, I don't want to use the word pretend. It has different flavors, it has different colors, but yet it's all one life being experienced from different ways. And that helps to anchor it for me. So the wonder that I see is great. And the things that maybe I don't find wonder in, that's okay too. There is a time, if you talk to me about this philosophy right now, that there's no way I could even hear you. I would be like, okay, you just, go away. And I'm happy being me in the box that I was in. And the thing is now, even now, I recognize, because this life, this universe is intimate, it's like infinite, because I was thinking of the world multiverse, because I just got done watching Marvel's movie, right? The multiverse. It is not it's one with many levels. And that's happening right here, right now. All of it. And so my vision is perfect for me. Your vision is perfect for you. And it's all still part of one life, one spirit, one energy, one consciousness that's happening in, through, and as each one of us. So how does Ernest Holmes, our founder, talk about this idea of spirituality? Well, I opened to Living Science of Mind, and I found this quote. It was like literally opened right to the page, so I thought it was perfect. And he says, what we call spirituality, which is a word too often misused. From our viewpoint, spirituality is one's recognition of the universe as a living presence of good, truth, beauty, peace, power, and love. And then he adds, and added to this should be happiness, joy, enthusiasm, and universal harmony, which, like a great rhythm of life, flows through everything. So there's this another vision that I could have, this idea, this way of understanding that life is all of this. And I can get on board with it, or I don't have to. I mean, I can choose not to experience this. And this is the awakening, is recognizing our personal power of choice. Cheryl mentioned it earlier, setting up her song, that we get to choose. And so often we overlook that I don't know if there's anything more powerful, because that's free will. That's literally the power of God, the power of spirit, to think, to choose. And in that thinking, contemplating, choosing, we're co-creating the life that we're living here and now. Let that sink in. As a school counselor, I have to remind students this quite a bit, because they get caught up into the flow of what's happening that they don't like. So it's very easy to focus on what they don't like, because they're at a time where they don't necessarily recognize this power of choosing. And I can present a very simple situation. You can choose on one side what you don't like. How does that make you feel? Sad, angry, depressed, whatever the words are. Okay, frustrated. Now you could think about, what is it that you do want? So if this, say, relationship is not working out, this friendship, it's not the friendship that you would define as a friendship, how would you define it? And it's almost like they don't realize that that's an option. And it's not just that age. I still catch myself realizing, like, oh, I feel stuck in this situation. I'm looking at this thing on TV and I feel stuck, until I realize the power of choice. There's wonder in this moment. I want to choose to see the wonder. living spiritually is these, to me, Holmes breaks up the wonder in a sense. He calls it good, he calls it truth, he calls it joy, enthusiasm, right? I love that word because the more enthusiastic we are, enthusiasm, it comes from the Latin meaning in spirit, right? So you're seeing spirit in everything. So if this is spirituality, then spiritual living, in a sense, is a way to that we seek to find, that we notice, that we discover, and eventually come to recognize, which means to know, all of these characteristics. We can call, enclose them in this idea of wonder that Holmes just mentioned. The more we, again, recognize the good and the beauty, just look around you right where you are right now. Really, just pause for 10 seconds and look around you. The first thing I catch my eye on is a phone. Now, look, I was born in 1970. We didn't have phones. And I remember Pong as a video thing. This thing replaces, it's unbelievable. This used to be in science fiction movies about, how we just have this device or tap on our wrist and some device and we'd be able to talk to people and all that. And we take that now, going back to that one of the first quotes about that now becomes our new normal. At one point, that was super science. That was futuristic. And now that futuristic is here. And yet now we have a bit greater vision of something even newer. And that's all happening in this moment. So spiritual living doesn't just happen, though, like when we sit and meditate, or as we're even just sitting through another sacred service like this one. It's applying the spiritual tools that we have and that we know of. And even if you don't think you know of, you do. Because just thinking about what you want is a spiritual practice. It's contemplation. And when we do these things, we recognize that life flows easier. Maybe it's when you're exercising, your mind just goes. You get that runner's or biker's high, when you're working out, and you just are able to see things more clearly. And you find the wonder in this everyday living. I believe in the end, as we're searching for spiritual truths, that a truth is simple. So simple that a child can understand it if presented to them in the right way. And Paul Coelho, who is the author of the book The Alchemist, says this. He says, "It is the simple things in life that are the most extraordinary. Only wise men are able to understand them. Only wise men are able to understand that life is simple." Why? Because the wise are able to understand that we're in control of our focus, our attention, and it allows us to see the simplest things and all the glory within it. The wonder, we can call it magic, the sacredness, the holiness in the simplest things. Now, it's interesting how times have changed so much recently. I was on our way to a friend's house yesterday, and I popped on a radio station. It was sports. There was a female host doing sports. Now, 5 years ago, maybe a little more, that would have never happened. It was all men. And then she was talking to another person interviewing who was also a female. So that's two females now. And she asked her one, and obviously they knew each other well. She says, "So what's your intention for the new year?" And she's like, "Well, is that too personal?" And the other girl was like, or woman was like, no. She says her answer was, "I want to be more present." That's what she talked. She said, "I want to be more present in the moment." And they had this short conversation about being present. And I'm thinking, this is sports radio. People are talking about really being mindful, like being here now, like recognizing the wonder. And the first woman host says, "Oh, have you read The Alchemist?" And this is all, again, after I had written this talk. And she's like, "Oh, it's a great book," and so on. So just amazing how things are changing right before our eyes. How wonderful it is that, women are now allowed to do things that only men were allowed, and they were boxed out. And now it's open. It's more inclusive. Time is changing, and it's changing for the better if we choose to see it that way. And going back to simplicity, I saw this great video I want to share. There's no sound on the video, but I want to share it with you, and I'm praying it works. It does. Look at now these are huge silverbacks, gorillas. And I can't get my laser won't work on the video, but I'm going to kind of hover around it. Yeah, you can see right. This little line here is a caterpillar. And just watch the reaction to this. If it moves. Come on. There we go. Watch them just, again, they're just wondering at this tiny, I think they're thousands of times bigger than it. And look at them both. Very intrigued. And it's going to switch here for a moment. And eventually crawls up on, look at the as a young male, just intently staring at a caterpillar. And it finally crawls up on him and he gives it a little whack. And then he looks at it again to make sure it's okay. Is that not absolutely, to me, like, I love this. It's hard to explain because it's like these huge things could have easily just small-mindedly crushed it and whatever, you know, it's meaningless. But wonder is all around us, no matter how big we are. We can stare and look at some wonder in the small way, or we can look out into space and look at the wonder and where we're actually the small ones looking up, right? In size-wise, we're looking up and there's a moon, you know, that rotates around us, and we take that as normal. That's, I mean, the wonder truly that is going on if we allow ourselves to just take it in. And again, to me, this video just a perfect example of slow it down, keep it simple. Let's look around us and see the wonder. You know, in our philosophy and our faith, we truly believe in unity, which is recognizing the oneness, you know, the infinite source, the spirit in everyone and everything. Some books that I read, they call that the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, when you're in it, you're recognizing everything as God, as spirit. That is the kingdom of heaven. You're recognizing the oneness of it all and the different ways it shows up. And what another quote I want to share from Ernest Holmes, he says this about, if I can get past it, there we go. We arrive at a consciousness of unity only in such a degree as we see that what we are looking for, we are looking with and looking at. Read it one more time. What we arrive at consciousness of unity only in such a degree as we see that what we are looking for, we are looking with and looking at. Meaning, it's all one. We're just looking, in a sense, at ourselves, at our godly spiritual selves. Through my eyes, everything I see is a vibration of spirit, of consciousness in physical form now, but it doesn't have to be always in physical form. That's unity, seeing the oneness of everything. And this is a personal journey that we must take for ourselves. For each one of us, there's a personal spirit or God or feeling or presence that we're aware of. And if we're being truthful, there's that same presence, spirit, God, that there's a part of it that we're not aware of. That's the journey. That's a journey of recognizing and knowing that maybe we're never going to get it all, but what can I get in this moment? What can I allow in? How far can I allow my mind to open? And remember, this river, this stream is always flowing. And we get to choose how much we take in, how deep we're going to go out and wade into this stream, this river, whatever you want to call it. But there's always an unknown part. There's this part that we're aware of right here, right now. And one of the things is, I'm not going to be concerned about the part that I'm not aware of right in this moment. I want to know, because if it's everything, we believe that God is omnipresent. What that means is everywhere. There's no spot where God is not, as we say. And so I don't have to worry about the part I can't see because it's still right here. All of it's right here. And again, going back to our sacred power of choice, that is our, not a superpower, but a sacred power of choosing and allowing what we want to experience. Developing our intuition, for me, is one of the best spiritual practices, tools that we can do. And intuition is tapping into that voice and I use the term voice in quotes, that knowing, that presence, when I get intuitive hits, it's kind of like I hear it, but I don't hear it like audio. It just comes into my presence so I can understand it. It's like boom. And the more that I work on that and pay attention to it, when I say work on it, I really mean just being open to it, paying attention to it and say, oh, so often we're like, oh, it was a gut feeling, but it was probably just chance. No, like practice that. It's your intuition. That gut feeling is that, in a sense, currently, or what was unknown, making itself known. And it's all the presence of God's Spirit within us. And developing this allows us to experience more. Now, I want to end with the story that I'm going to share. I haven't shared with anybody yet. And it's not to say, yay, how great I am. But as the simple wonder of things that are in front of us, and how we can be open to experiencing wonder every day. So the other day I was going to the gym. It was just before Christmas. So it was last week, just before Christmas. I was going to the gym, and I saw this, I'll use the term, young man walking through. He's very disheveled, very dirty. I can tell that he's living a life right now with some issues, maybe mental health. And right away, in my mind, there's two sides. It was like, oh, I kind of feel sorry for him. And then I'm like, no, feeling sorry is not helping him. So I opened up and I said, what can I do? And right away, when you see something like that, I'm like, I can offer him money. And usually I allow that to sit. I tap into my intuition. So I grabbed some money. I put it in my pocket just in case, see what happens. He was kind of moving on. So I got out of the car and I'm on the way to the gym. And he, like law of attraction, he stops, turns, and says something to me. And I'm just in front of the door of the gym now. And I said, I didn't hear you. What did you want? And he says, when you get out of the gym, when you're done, if you have some work for me to do, I would really appreciate that. And I was kind of, I've heard that before. I felt it a little differently. Like he wasn't trying to interrupt my day. He seemed like he was going to be willing to wait if I said, yeah, I have some things for you to do. And so I gave him some money, and it was a decent amount of money. And he was like, what, I didn't do anything for this. And I said, yes, you already have. Now, all these words were not by choice. It was, to me, just spirit flowing through. And he says, oh, yeah. Like that, like he understood what I was saying. And then I kind of gave him a fist pump. And what came out of my mouth was, just don't forget who you are. Now, it's not something I normally say to people. And yet, the young man turned away and he said, yeah, I'm a child of God. And then he just kept walking away. And it wasn't as a sarcastic child of God. It was a recognition. Like Spirit was reminding him who he was through me. Now, I didn't set myself up for this. I didn't plan the day of, just going out of my way like that. And I truly don't believe, I think the money was just the act of Spirit that was the giving part. And I gave through love. I don't think it was the money at all. But just, it really touched me because I'm like, why would he respond that way? Like if I said, as soon as I heard the words coming out of my mouth, don't forget who you are. I'm like, wow, that's like, when do you ever say that to anybody? Just off the street that you just met. But it really is an experience for me that I'll probably never forget, because it also reminds me, like I was judging him. And then when I was open to it, it allowed me to see again that he's a child of the divine. And that's the wonder that's all around us. And we get to be a part of that simply by choosing to be a part of it. So one of the last quotes I want to share with you is from an American writer, composer, John Cage. He says, we are involved in a life that passes understanding, and our highest business is our daily life. So it's not happening in the future. It's right here, right now. Each and every choice we get to make, are we willing to open to a different understanding? Are we willing to step outside? In order to learn something new, we have to be willing to step outside of a box that we're in, these parameters that we're in. And we can understand what is not known today. That is possible. That's, in a sense, the journey. And it just starts with the simplest of things. the next time we're cooking a meal, the next time we're washing our hands, the next time we're doing whatever. Open up. Let's open up and see the wonder in that moment. Make every moment sacred. And yes, we're going to fall out of it. We're not going to stay at that high all the time, because if we did, even as we do, we go here, well, now there's something new. So our new high eventually becomes our low. And so that wonder will never cease to be. And if we can add a bit of enthusiasm into it, and that's where we have to have our partners in believing, having our friends of like-mindedness join us, supporting us as we support them. That's how we change the world. And we do believe in a world that works for everybody with CSL. So I do have an affirmation. Why not put this into practice? Simply, I recognize the extraordinary in the ordinary. If we practice this, we repeat it, we use it like lifting weights, but mentally lifting it, holding it within us, then I think, just like my experience last week, we will each have those. And then we will each have those more often and experience truly a life of living wonder every day. So let us take this into prayer. I'm going to ask you just to get comfortable and recognizing, let's take a deep breath together. I need to center. And I'm just so appreciative of that spiritual sacred wonder that's happening right here and right now. Knowing the truth that all that is right here and right now. So I'm open to the highest and the best within my life, within the life of everyone listening now, knowing that there is only one life happening, and we are open to that, to the highest degree, to letting in the most love, the most joy, the most good, the most wonder, with enthusiasm this day. I choose to release everything and anything that I no longer need. I say thank you to it, and I bless it, and I let it go. It has served me, whether positively in the sense of it has uplifted me, and if it's simply something that I say no to, that's not what I experienced, and I bless it because it allows me to turn my attention to what I do want. So it's always working in my favor. Life is always showing up in wondrous ways that just excites me, that fills me with joy, that allows me to know that we are all one, that we are all one perfect life being lived. I know that any healing that needs to take place is taking place in this moment, because there is only this now moment, and I allow it to take place. I don't have to know how, I just welcome it. Whether it's more finances that comes in, more abundance in different ways, whether it's health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, I allow it and I say thank you. I open it up. I appreciate it. And I appreciate it because I know I'm a part of it happening. It's not happening to me, it's happening through me. I welcome it. And I find wonder in every word I speak, in everything I'm able to see or hear or understand. And I do this with joy. And so it is. Namaste, my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Namaste, Joe. Once again, boy, you get it every single time. I tell you. I mean, from the I can't even remember which quote it was of Holmes that you said that you started hearing it differently.
Yeah.
The
heaven is a state within us.
Yeah. Yes. And depending on the level that we understand it, or
right.
That for me today shifted into something more. I just loved it. And another thing that you mentioned, or just another thing I want to mention about your talk, and for those of you who are new or joining us for the first time or are unfamiliar with Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, there's nuggets all throughout Joe's talk, all throughout service. There's these little teeny nuggets. So much of it might be a lot and not even comprehensible. And know this, it's not for each of us. People that have been in the teaching forever are missing major ideas that we just can't grasp because we're at a level where we don't really understand it. And until we do, we
Right.
won't be able to. So I just invite anyone that listens to our talks or watches our service just to remember, just listen for the little teeny nuggets. Go have coffee. You don't have to pay attention. You don't have to be sitting here concentrating, writing, taking notes. It'll come when you get a nugget, man. You've got a nugget, and
find the wonder. Absolutely. I really try to give enough examples that a newbie, so to speak, somebody new to this undername may have just tuned in, get something out of it. And those that have been practicing for a while get something out of it. And that's important because, I want to make absolutely nobody's quote there in a sense, because where is there? That means you have it all. It's an infinite life. So absolutely. Good point.
Yeah. Thanks again. And we'll see you in the Zoom meeting. Another thing I'd just like to not mention right now is that Joe goes over and we talk about all this stuff in our Zoom meetings. And also, if you are new, come time for the Zoom meeting, if you come in, you'll feel warm, you'll feel welcome. And we talk about a lot. And if there's questions, they can be answered then. So I
love the new questions because it helps me realize in a different way, sometimes things we forget, we take for granted, even the most simple things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you once again, Joe. We'll see you next time. Okay. Today has been such a wonderful day. Our community gathering, which we have been doing regularly once a month, and hopefully soon we will be doing twice a month. Our date is yet to be revealed for us right now, but it is coming, so stay tuned. We will let you know what the date for the community gathering is. The book club is continuing with Sue and Alan with Eric Butterworth's book, The Power Within You. That is Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. Those links are at CSLSG.org. You can just go there and just follow the links real simply. That is our book club, and spread the love. As you know, it's the new year. As you know, we are in consciousness of bringing in a new minister and a new building and a new location. And it is you spreading the love that will make all of this possible. It will help us get into a location that we can rent, bring our chairs and all of our stuff out of storage, and gather in person once again. So you will find the links on the CSLSG.org website as well. We're here for you if you are struggling in any way, shape, or form. Prayers are available, and we have a community care circle that provides support through calls, cards, and prayer. Just go ahead and send an email to prayers@cslsg.org. I love how these slides just sort of go with what I'm saying. It's so cool. Here is the time for our community conversation at noon, right after service. I don't know what time it is. Oh, it's 11:53. So, in 7 minutes, we will be connecting to the Zoom meeting. And for those of you who are new, don't be intimidated by this. Please join us. You're just a little square in there, and you can even hide your face and just listen. It's a lot of fun. We are there every week. We get much deeper into the talks, and maybe if there's something that is sitting kind of in a state of not being totally clear, we can clear that up for you. So join us in that Zoom meeting. And coming up is next Sunday, January 9th, will be the topic will be Wonder Everywhere, and that will be Reveryware. It will be Reverend Valerie Reeves gives a dynamic talk, and come join us for sure. And then following that is Eugene Holden. He's a practitioner. He writes in the Science of Mind magazine. Pretty much every week you'll read something and you'll probably go, wow, I really like that. Well, that's Eugene Holden. So come join us on the 16th. His talk conversation will be Embrace the Now. And what's coming next? I think it's going to be our affirmation for closing time. So everybody's going to come in. Let's see. Cheryl came in. There's Star. There's Gwen. There's Marina and Joe.
Yeah.
We are all on board. Take it away, Star.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind, life is in my body, life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is,
and just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you, life.
Woo! Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next
Happy
Sunday.
New
Come
Year.
join us. And some, Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Join us on
Year.
Zoom. Join us.
See you at Zoom.
Okay.